Hey folks, this is Karen Trepti with Gaijin Works Coaching, your productivity coach. I'm so thrilled to see all of you again here. Today I have a super duper treat for you. This is my beautiful friend Natasha Lindor coming to you from beautiful Hawaii. Maybe that's a word. That's a good word. We were just talking about some good words off camera here today. So this is back to our normal format. Sometimes we have a little more formal sessions we just did a little bit ago, but back to our informal tea time conversation is what I like to call it for entrepreneurs. So Natasha, please tell us about you.
Of course. So aloha, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you. So I am live here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I am a life and career satisfaction expert. So I help people who are stressed out, overwhelmed, to be able to have and to create the success they want with a lot more ease. And I can't imagine a more fantastic place to be doing this work from other than Hawaii. So I'm so happy to be here with you today, Karen.
Wonderful. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. One is, what got you into being an entrepreneur, Natasha?
So my own journey, actually. So I hired a life coach a coach to help me find love when I was having all the success in my career and, was like, where's my man? What's going on here? And at the time I was in corporate, moving up the corporate ladder and everything. And through working with her, she tuned me into my own life purpose and the things that I really enjoy doing. And for me, helping people, something that's really important to me. And when I saw what was possible from coaching, I ended up deciding to get certified as a coach myself. And as I was going through my coach training, I saw how all these changes that were happening in people's lives. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how can I continue going in, day out to my corporate job, which at the time was all about helping people. I was working in internal communications, helping people, companies help their employees feel more engaged and happier at work. And I'm like, how can I continue writing these plans when I could be doing something to really make a bigger impact in the world? And that's really what ended up getting me to be an entrepreneur. I didn't necessarily have a vision to be like, okay, when I grow up, I want to own my own business or anything like that. I guess I kind of fell into the entrepreneur world, driven by the fact that I really wanted to make a bigger impact in the world.
So did you just decide one day you're going to walk out the door? Is that what you did?
That's kind of what happened. There, one day I was in the shower getting ready for work, and I feel like the showers where all these really great ideas happen. And that's when I had the epiphany of like, what are you doing? Like, how can you be going into work and yeah, you're good at your job and everything, but you have all of these clients you've been helping, to get my certification hours and stuff. And they were getting all these big results. Like, you really need to, what could be possible if you're able to work full time at helping people? What kind of impact will you be able to have? So I realized that, I put in my notice, and 2 weeks later I was off and running with my coaching business.
Perfect. And how did you get to Hawaii? I think that's a good story.
Oh, yeah. So the last 2 winters, so I'm originally from Chicago. And so my husband and I don't know how much you know about Chicago winters, but Chicago winters are brutal.
Lives there. I visited at Christmas time, so a little bit.
So then the winters are really crazy. So we decided, Chicago winters are crazy. So we went to Costa Rica the last 2 winters. And finally last winter when we came back, we thought we escaped it. So the first winter we were there for a month. The second winter we were there for 3 months and thought that we would have escaped the winter all the way through. We came back, it snowed, and we're like, what are we doing? We went from this life where every single day it was beautiful and we got to enjoy really good food and work in this beautiful environment. And so we started thinking about, okay, what are our values? Like what place in the US would allow us to live out our values and have the lifestyle that we want? And so Hawaii was the place that we decided was the ideal place. So we sold everything and just made the jump, and we've been here since January.
I love it, Natasha. I mean, true entrepreneurial spirit. Right? And you're definitely walking your talk, like Tony Robbins says. I mean, you're definitely just deciding that you want to do something different. And my black shepherd, German shepherd, might come into this picture. It's okay, honey. And so, and then just taking action on it. I mean, so many people must think that they want to change environments, and then they don't. So why don't you tell us a story? Obviously, we're not going to break any privacy things here. We both very highly value integrity, but can you tell us a story maybe of one of your clients who's felt stuck or overwhelmed or stressed, and then you've led them through this path and now they're doing something different?
Absolutely. So one of my clients was very successful consultant, and she had this feeling within her that always, ever since she was little, big ideas of how she wanted to impact the world. And so when we were working together, she came to me because she's like, I have these big dreams. I don't know how to put them all together, and I don't know where to start. I don't have the relationship that I want. I'm doing all these things that I'm told will make me happy. Like, she got certified to be a yoga teacher. She went on these various retreats, green juice, you name it. She was, doing all the stuff to find happiness. And so the first thing we did was work on her values and started to shift some things in her life so it was in alignment with who she was. And ultimately, she ended up taking a leave of absence from her job, and she went to India to pursue this passion that she had for leading retreats, and to help with a school that the school that she had partnered with to make these bags out of recycled sari. So her background is Indian, and so she really took some major steps, to take that leave of absence from her job to pursue this dream of hers, and ultimately that led into starting this wonderful organization that, they employ these women in India who some of them have some really dire circumstances, and giving them another choice, giving them another option to be able to provide for their kids and change the impact of what's going on in their community. And she's sponsoring girls to be able to go to college. So they have a different option for themselves. And she was actually featured in Oprah's Belief series as well, followed her story of being able to find herself. So, she did some really amazing stuff, but it all came from getting in alignment with who she was. And yeah, there were times when there were total struggles and, obstacles and inner conflict, should I be doing this? Because, again, having that successful career, but it all came back to her values, and really helped her to move forward and to overcome some of the scary stuff that she was dealing with.
Thanks, Natasha. I mean, that's one of the many, many things that we share in common, is just this underlying belief in values. That's where I start with all my clients, because I don't believe that someone can be productive. I don't think someone, like in your case, can change their life, really, unless they know what their values are. So that underpinning is just crucial, really, for anybody in the audience who wants to do anything. It doesn't have to be changing your life or productivity, but start with your values so that as Martha Beck said, kind of where your North Star is, right? Where you're headed from.
So true.
So what are your favorite types of folks to work with? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm the typical coach in the sense that, I love to be able to help people who want to create their version of success, whatever that might be. But I really resonate well with the people who feel like they should be doing a certain thing. So for example, like your mom, your dad, your education, your background told you that you should go be a doctor or a lawyer or have your own business. But whatever it is that you're doing, you're in it right now because someone told you you should be doing it, or, you know, you should be going back to school. So the people who are finding themselves in a case of the shoulds, the people who have, you know, they did everything they were supposed to do. They went to school, they got the degree, they graduated, they got a job, but it feels like something is missing, you know, whether it's the relationship, that sense of excitement when you get up in the morning, you know, feeling, or having time to be able to enjoy with your friends, or, you know, being able to go to dinner and be with friends and family, but not able to enjoy it and disconnect. You know, I can help you be able to have that, what I call the and factor, which is being happy and successful at the same time.
I love that. Case of the shoulds. That's really great. So can you give our audience a few little tips then? Like if they feel like there's so many steps, right, to becoming an entrepreneur, and it can be scary, it can be overwhelming, or you can just jump in and then it's scary and overwhelming. Either way that you approach it from. But what if somebody feels like, I've always felt like I should be doing this, like my parent told me to do it, but I don't really want to do it. What would be the first piece of advice that you would give them?
First thing, celebrate the fact that you're pausing to like ask yourself the question, because so many people, you know, stick with, oh yeah, I should be doing this. It's not what I want to do. And they just keep pushing forward. So the fact that you're even taking a moment to pause and be like, okay, they're saying I should do this, and yet I want to be able to do something else, is something worth celebrating. And then the next thing would be to figure out, okay, what is it that you want to do? But more importantly than that, why is it that you want to do that, whatever it is? Because having that why is what's going to drive you to get past any obstacles. So just to share a quick story. So my parents immigrated here from Haiti, and, you know, here meaning the US, from Haiti, and they didn't have a ton of education or anything. They worked very, very long hours, but yet it didn't drain on them, because they saw it as like, hey, we're creating a better life for our kids than what we had. So their why was their kids. Okay, when I was in corporate, I was putting a lot of long hours, but I wasn't fulfilled. And it's because I didn't really have a why, you know, like what was it that was really driving me? So to help, for me, it was to help people. So I would ask yourself, like, what's your why? What's really important to you? And use that to figure out how to proceed next. So that would be one tip. Another one would be, you know, figuring out your values. Like, this will save you so much time and stress, and just make things so much easier if you know what your top values are, and specifically what they are, how you define them, and why it's important to you, because that will help inform, okay, like let's say family is a top value. Well, if you feel like, you know, family and having quality time with your kids and your loved ones is important, then that can inform, okay, what kinds of things you want to, how you want to create your business, or what kinds of hours do you want to have? How can you incorporate your family into the way that you go to market? You know, I know one coach who did really fun video with her daughter, you know, and it was fun. It was authentic to who she was. You know, family is a top value, and it made me love her even more, you know, and want to do business with her and engage with her. So finding ways to incorporate your values into the whole process will make it so much more fulfilling for you. And it's also going to attract your right people to you as well.
Wonderful. So if somebody just doesn't, okay, let's say they've established, you're being very generous with your time, and I appreciate you doing that. If somebody's established their values, they kind of know their whys, but they're still stuck. Like they really don't have any idea. Sometimes people get to the point, I think, Natasha, where they really don't even know what they like anymore. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they've been so driven on this one straight path that suddenly they might be 40 or however old they are, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I enjoy anymore.
Yeah, as you're talking about that, I have a really great exercise. We can talk about how to get it out to your people, but it's all about helping people get in touch with that. So it's called it's my big dreams. It's a template, and basically it's helping you go back to the time, if money, time, if you had no barrier standing in front of you, it helps you get in touch with what you would want to do, where you want to travel, like getting in touch with the things that excite you. And oftentimes people tell me when they go through that exercise, it sparks ideas of what is exciting to them or what they might want to do next, or it just gets some inspiration going to shut down that like monkey mind. So many times when you have a case of the shoulds, it's so hard to think about anything because you're like, oh, you might remember like, oh, I like to go dancing, or I like to knit or whatever, but I can't really make money doing that. I shouldn't be doing that. And that the shoulds are talking over here, and it's getting in the way of your inspiration, your ideas. So this exercise kind of helps with that, to kind of get you thinking about what you want to do next.
Super. We'll post a link to that on the Facebook. Then we'll make sure that happens when this gets recorded. We'll make sure that happens. So helping people with their careers, helping people get out of their predicaments, if you will. Is that pretty much what you would say your niche is, like what you really like to focus on?
Yeah, it's the combination of happiness and success, because there's a lot of successful people who are not happy. And, and then there's people who are happy but not successful. And I genuinely believe, or at least not their version of success. And I genuinely believe, and I know from my experience working with my clients, that it is possible to have your and factor. It's the approach to life that allows you to be happy and successful at the same time. And so those are my people, anyone who wants to have both, regardless of which degree of happiness and success you have, we can help you have more of it.
Super. It sounds very appealing to me. You could just see the light in your eyes, Natasha. You're obviously very happy. So what tips do you have? And my tagline is work is joy. So happiness is a big thing for me too. I think life is short, and if we're not going to be happy, then we need to find a way to be happy. So what tips do you have for people on how to find happiness? And also, do you think we're just choosing to be happy? Or do you think there's ways to be happy? I know that's a big controversy out there.
Oh, yeah. So there's definitely a difference between, happiness and like being happiness. When you're like being happy, you're owning your happiness. And understand that the thing is, the common misconception that people have is that happy people are happy all of the time. That is not true. Happy people, it's not like happy people are like with their head in the clouds all the time. It's just that they're able to find the happiness no matter what is going on, even in sadness, even in, the scary times. So let's say you're feeling scary about starting your business, or you don't know what's on the other side. And it's totally normal to be scared because, you don't see what's on the other side, and who knows. Yeah. But here's the thing. Somebody who has a happiness default, who's really like being happy, will be like, hey, I already know what it's like not to have what I want. So why not see this adventure of what's on the other side, and, experience and see what's going on, see what's on the other side, take that next step to be able to do that. And it's with that like curiosity, it's that approach of curiosity and lightness that helps it to just be happy, instead of feeling, I talk to people all the time. You're like, oh, I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to be happy. And that's the first problem. Trying to be happy doesn't get you anywhere, but accepting where you are. Hey, yeah, this is scary. Yeah, this is like not feeling the greatest thing, but you know what? I'm going to do this as an adventure. Let's see what's on the other side, So it's coming from it, that that perspective adds to it. So being able to incorporate some of that in your day as you go about your business is adds that joy to it. You know, some weeks I'll say to my husband, I'm like, oh, I wonder who my new client is going to be. You know, who the new client is going to be this week? Like where are they going to be from? Like what's their situation going to be? You know, so it's that really fun, playful curiosity part of it that you could bring to your day-to-day, even when you don't know, or even when you're trying to figure things out. If you're trying to figure out what's next for you, if you're stuck in your job or something and you're trying to figure out, hey, I want to start a business. You know, like, okay, what kinds of things do I really like to do? What shows what gets me excited? You know, just that curiosity part of it to have more joy and lightness. And so that's why I recommend when you start your day, starting it with 68 seconds, and this is from Abraham Hicks, or I guess I kind of tweaked it from his 68 seconds of pure positive energy. So just lying in bed when you know, kind of that time between when you wake up and you're not fully awake, you're still in bed, to close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths, and just imagine, you know, for 68 seconds, or if you have an iPhone timer, then it's 2 minutes because it doesn't do the 68 seconds exactly. But so for 2 minutes, imagining what could be possible for your day. You know, if you're waking up with a feeling of anxiety that you have to go to this job that you don't like, okay, well, what would a calm day feel like for you? If you're feeling anxiety in your business and you're like, oh, I don't know what my next step should be, you know, imagine like this lightness and excitement, you know, and just simply imagining it and just being in that energy, that putting your focus there. Who knows what ideas you'll come up with? I've heard all kinds of stuff, and this works for the people who are really good at consider themselves good at meditation and visualization. And then also it works great for people who are the left brain, more methodical thinkers as well, because it kind of helps you get out of that stuff, especially when you do it first thing in the morning, because it's before all the doing, all of the let's do the emails and the logic, you know, that logical brain part of your brain. The shoulds are still kind of wiping the sleep out of their eyes. So use that time when the shoulds are down to be able to have that joy, infuse your day with some joy before you get started.
Love that, Natasha. I mean, you talk about finding happiness. You talk about having a happiness default, making that a preference. I forgot, I was reading a book the other day. It's along the similar lines, and I won't find the exact wording, but it was something like that, like having a preference for being an optimist. Some people say they're realists, but sometimes that turns into a preference for negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And we really don't know. We don't know, and we don't have control. So why not? Why not just have the happiness default? And the other thing I really loved, it many things you say I love, but talking about making an adventure of it and taking action. You're not talking about just sitting back in the chair, kind of like waiting for it all to come to you, right? And you're not talking either, I think, about having a straight and narrow path necessarily from point A to point Z on that happiness Richter. We need action to get
totally
there. And if we don't have the action, we don't have, you know, we're not taking any action steps towards it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the other thing too is, I mean, so many, I've talked to my clients about this, like, so it's easy to be stuck, and it's really overwhelming. Even if you decide to be an entrepreneur and love being an entrepreneur, it's still really easy to be overwhelmed and stressed with like wearing so many different hats, to do so many different things. And I'm a firm believer in actually stepping back.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about, I've heard that 68 or 80 seconds, whatever it is with Abraham Hicks. I've heard that too. I think it really does. When we're sort of in that hazy zone, I'll call it, I love to meditate. So when I step back or I just meditate and I'm not even thinking about what maybe issues are or what blogs I'm going to write, it's not really part of my consciousness. But it's amazing when we step back like that. All of a sudden, I've had it happen at least twice, where suddenly I have like 12 blog ideas that, and I always make sure I have paper. I mean, it's not maybe the most efficient way, but it is for me. I use all kinds of things for productivity, but I have pen and paper right there. When those ideas start flooding me, and I'm writing it down, and then I'm going back to my meditation. So. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's I love that because you're doing something for you. It's like when you take a step back, it's like hitting the ease button in your business, to get things done. Cause you'll still, I guarantee you would have still come up with 12 blog ideas, if we gave you enough time and, you could have sat there and pushed through it, but you took a step back and you probably got it done in less time and felt better in the process. And that's what it's all about. I love how you apply that in your business.
Thanks. I mean, 10 minutes, it's down on paper. It's done. Yeah. Well, I'm all about ease and flow, and I like to have a good time. I like to have fun. I think that it just increases for me actually every year that goes by. So let's see. Let's tell people, how can they find you?
Well, you can find me at theandfactor.com, and that is theandfactor.com. And there there's a nice little section with some helpful tips, some unconventional things. And then on the homepage, you can check out 5 secrets to enjoying more time for you because you deserve it, and they're unconventional. They aren't your classic tips in terms of having more time for yourself. This is stuff that's going to allow you to have time for yourself now and later, so you can be happy and successful at the same time.
Beautiful, Natasha. Well, thanks so much for coming on with me today. Is there anything else you want to talk to our audience about before we close this out for today?
Oh, this has been amazing. The last thing I'll leave you all with is that you always have a choice. You can always choose something's not working. You always have a choice to choose something different. And it can be something even as small as spending 68 seconds, imagining, exploring what that something different might be.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you, Natasha. Again, this is Karen Trepti from Gaijin Works Coaching, your productivity coach. And we're saying adios or sayonara to Natasha Lindor today. And thanks so much for being on with us. We'll see you in the next time.